Next month, for the first time, doctors will have to tell women life-saving information about their breast density. Starting June 1st, a new state law will require that providers notify women who have dense tissue, which makes it harder for mammograms to spot cancer. 24 News 8's Susan Shaw walks us through how the new law will work and what additional tests to consider if you find out you're dense.
And this has been a very bittersweet victory for me.
On the same day Teresa Hendricks was winning her fight to get a life-saving law passed, she lost.
One of our density advocates was my cousin. When I got on the bus after testifying, I knew she was struggling in her last hours of life. And I found out that she held on until we finished testifying, until we got on the bus. And so I think of Terry.
It was for Terry, for all women in Michigan, that Teresa shared her own story with state lawmakers. After 7 years of clean mammograms, Hendricks found her own cancer, a tumor that had been there growing all along.
It was life-changing for me because I just couldn't believe that doing everything right and being proactive with all my exams, that my cancer would be diagnosed at a later stage rather than when it was the size of a speck.
What Hendricks' doctor had never told her, she has dense breast tissue, and that can hide a tumor.
Oh yeah, very common.
It was early in her career that Dr. Christina Jacobs realized women were not being told their density level, or that they should consider advanced screening.
People get angry, I would too. If something's withheld from me, if I knew about it and I chose not to, then that was my choice. But if nobody told me, then that really burns.
Here's how the new law will work. Starting June 1st, if your mammogram shows that 50% or more of your breast tissue is dense, the results letter you get in the mail must include, by law, this language. Your mammogram shows that your breast tissue is dense. Dense breast tissue is very common and is not abnormal. However, dense breast tissue can make it harder to find cancer through a mammogram. Also, dense breast tissue may increase your risk for breast cancer.
Dense tissue is white. Things that are abnormal are white. So finding white spots in a white background that could be hidden by the white tissue.
In this case, it took an ultrasound to reveal the lump the patient had been feeling.
So we could see where the lump is. There's this black area here.
Breast cancer is also easier to spot through tomosynthesis, which is just like a mammogram, except it takes 3D pictures of your breast, layer by layer.
Here we have our standard 2D mammography.
In this case, too, the patient had come to Dr. Jacobs feeling a lump that wasn't clear on a mammogram. Tomosynthesis showed a more comprehensive cross-section.
So now what was a questionable abnormality, if anything, on the standard 2D view is a very obvious mass.
But when it comes to catching the cancer early, neither tomosynthesis nor ultrasound can compete with a breast MRI.
MRI is certainly our most sensitive test for detecting breast cancer.
But it's also the most costly, and insurance only covers it for women at highest risk. Because MRI is so sensitive, it picks up on things that turn out not to be cancer.
That's a lot of anxiety for a patient to go through, a lot of expense.
For Teresa Hendricks, it's a personal choice she would have liked the chance to make. Her efforts to get the new law passed ensured other women will.
And I'm still resentful that we couldn't do it sooner and we couldn't save more women.
That was Susan Shaw reporting. If you have questions about the new law, send them to us at reportit@woodtv.com. Then tomorrow morning, doctors from Holland Hospital will answer your questions live in the 6 a.m. half hour of Daybreak. And our coverage continues all week on 24 Hour News 8, 8 West, and WOTV 4 for Women, which will dedicate an hour to this critical issue tomorrow night.